Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and as you've seen in the title of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I got accepted in 4 schools in the US, and hopefully this information will be helpful to you. I intend to share my entire experience very honestly with you guys, so this is just the first part of many videos to come. So if you have not hit the subscribe button, I think you need to do it now. Thank you. I started my journey sometime last year. That was in 2022. Yeah, I really wanted to further my education to do my master's. I was at the University of Nairobi, and shout out to all my Kenyan family. So yeah, I was at the University of Nairobi and I graduated in 2019. So I've since then just been, working until sometime early last year when I just really thought about going back to school, and I decided to give my applications a shot. It's been a very uncertain journey because, yeah, there's just so many things that are out of your control. But I also want to give a big shout out to Impact Global. You can follow their channel here on YouTube. They really share lots of insightful information to help students apply for scholarships and apply for opportunities to advance their education. And I'll tag a channel down below so that you guys can get more information. So I didn't do all of this applying alone. I really had so much help from Impact Global. Sorry. So yeah, so I decided that I wanted to give it a shot and apply to come and do my master's. So I kind of scouted a few schools, not a few, there were quite many. So I scouted a number of schools in the US that were offering the program I was interested in studying. After selecting my schools, I went ahead to just go through the school websites, understand the location of the schools, and just understand the school in general. So I did that, and then usually they tell you when you can apply for the different semesters, like for fall, for winter. So I wanted to start my postgraduate in fall semesters. So ideally for fall semesters, most applications begin to open towards the end of the year in December, around December, January. So if you're looking to apply for fall semesters, I think that's the best time to start your applications. It depends with schools. There are schools that admit students all year. There are schools that limit the time of application. So you just have to really check and see the school that you're interested in, how that works for them. So I had to really write down all my deadlines for applications. And then now I had to gather all my certificates. Of course, most of the schools asked for my degree certificate, my KCSE, certificate. I'm not sure if I had to send those, but I had to show proof of my undergraduate studies. So I started my applications in December last year. It was really tough. I'll just be honest with you guys. It was not easy because, yeah, it just takes so much of your mind to put your thought together. So you really need to have someone to guide you. Honestly, if I didn't have Impact Global guiding me through, I probably would not have known the very important things that I needed to consider for my applications to be approved. So I applied to 4 schools. I first had around 7 schools, and then I narrowed down to 4 schools that I sent my applications to. And by God's grace, I got accepted in all of them. 3 of them offered me scholarship, but one did not offer me scholarship. And studying in the US is quite expensive, so you want to at least secure a scholarship if you do not have means to pay for your studies. Yeah, so I did my applications. You have to make sure that you have a strong personal statement. That's one thing that Global Impact was really keen on helping us students who were applying at that time. They were keen on telling us how powerful your personal statement is going to be, because picture this, guys, you're like so many miles away from this school. They don't know you, and your personal statement is that interview, is that thing, that is that pitch that you can give them to show them that you understand why you want to come to the US to study, you understand what you've been doing, and also you're able to to synchronize what you've been studying in your undergrad to what you're doing now, what you want to do in your postgrad. So that personal statement is just, I think that's like the most important thing when you're doing your applications. And another thing is to be absolutely honest about your school documents. I think it's not just the US, but everywhere it's so important to just be honest with all of your certificates. So if you really want to apply to do your master's or your undergrad, you really have to be honest about what you studied, how many years you studied, when you graduated, and just be honest about your location information, all of that. Also, another thing to look out for is sometimes when they roll out the application period, they usually offer scholarships when you they consider you for scholarship when you apply between a certain time. Like they'll say the first deadline, that's like the earliest deadline. And then you find if you sent in your application before the first deadline, then there's a high chance that you can be considered for scholarship. So for all of my applications, I sent them way before even the deadline. So I think that was something that really helped me to secure a scholarship. Once I was done sending my applications, it took weeks. I promise you guys, it took weeks to do all the write-ups I needed to gather all my documents and all of that. For my program, I didn't have to do the extra tests, so it was enough for me to have done my undergrad studies. I also had to share my resume or CV. Uh, so you just want to make sure that you have a detailed CV highlighting all the achievements that you have had, any association you're part of, anything you've done for the community, any volunteer work, all of that. You need to put that in your CV because those are the things that, it's very competitive to be selected in some of these schools. So you really want to put your best foot forward and not forget to write down any of the achievements that you have so far. And you just have to believe in yourself. You just have to believe that you're good enough for this opportunity, because when you have that confidence, then even in your write-ups, in everything, in your answers, it's so clear that you're the best candidate for this application. So you just have to really believe in yourself. Although I know this can be so uncertain, because it was really uncertain for me, especially waiting for the responses from the schools. Oh my God, that was so hard for me. I was so anxious. At some point I was like, why don't they just email me and tell me you did not qualify so that I can just move on, and just accept that probably I'll do my master's later. Like I said, my applications were submitted by end of December, latest 4th January, I was done with applying. So the responses started to come in late March, April, and they just came one after the other, one after the other. You also want to consider more than one school, because one school might not accept you and another may accept you, or one may offer you scholarship and another may not. So it's good to cast your net as wide as you can. Most of these schools also have a fee attached to your application, so you also want to check that. And your application sometimes is not considered until you have made that payment, the required payment for the schools. And usually it's a fee that's non-refundable. So you also want to check that when you're looking at the website of your school and choosing a program. Yeah, so the responses started to come in late March, early April. And let me tell you guys, I've never waited for news, any kind of news, like I waited to just, get the feedback from my applications. And I was happy to share with my family. I was happy to share with Impact Global, especially because of how detailed the assistance was for me to just be able to send in my applications. They ideally send you an email to log into your admissions portal, and then you get your response there. So I remember this particular day, I think it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, and then I get the first response. So I log into the portal, my heart is racing, and then I just see confetti on that page. Congratulations! That was so exciting for me, and I felt like, "Ooh, this this is it, just this acceptance meant so much for me, especially considering the work we had put into doing these applications and filling the forms and all of that. It was tough, but you just have to push yourself and give yourself deadlines to work on something every day until you're done with your application. So that was such a moment for me. I hope this video was helpful, and don't hold back. If you've been thinking about applying for your master's in any part of this world, I think this is your sign to go for it.